Good morning. My name is Terrell. I'm one of the arborists down here in the state of South Carolina, and this is one of those types of videos that there's nothing to really watch. It's just going to be a discussion. I've noticed a lot of guys are wanting to come into an industry pertaining to tree work, being an arborist, climbing, operating bucket trucks, doing things of that nature. It's not a hard industry to get into. It's a rather easy industry to get into, to get started in, but we do not have a high retention rate. We do not keep people long. The reason for that is it's not easy work. It takes time to build up. So you go on YouTube, you go on other media, and you watch videos of guys, they're taking trees down. They're roping logs down. They're using traditional methods, new age methods, SRT, DRT, you hear terms like that, mechanical rigs, mechanical devices, mechanically based climbing, split tail systems. You hear all these terms, and you watch these videos, and you see these guys doing work, and you say, hey, I would like to get into that industry because that's something I want to do. The thing with that is, in every case, most of these guys have been doing it anywhere 6, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years. For example, myself, I have been in this industry for 20 years. I started off as a groundman on a climbing crew, and I have been climbing for 20 years. I operate bucket trucks in between, specialized equipment. While I was on utility, I operated giraffes when necessary. 95% of my career has been strictly climbing. That is my specialty. That is where I operate. I supervise climbing crews. I supervised any type of specialized operations. That's climbing, giraffe operation, hydroax, skid steer operations, grinding operations. That's where my career has been focused around. And since I became an arborist, I now work for a municipality. And once you become an arborist, or if you get a degree in forestry, or a combination of both, you are at the top of our field. That's the top. That's the pinnacle of working in tree work or arboriculture. And it takes time. It takes time to get to that point where you qualify, where you can put in the application to even attempt to become a certified arborist. And then there's different levels of certified arborists, all the way up, municipal specialist, or you're a utility specialist, or, among other things. And then you have master arborist that you hit after some time, which there are even fewer of those. I believe at this point, there's a little over 10,000 certified arborists in the United States. And once you become certified, you can start working towards other elements within the certification process. But once you get started, you're going to start off as a groundman somewhere, whether it's on a bucket truck, whether it's on a climbing crew, whether it's on a piece of specialized equipment, and it all depends on what you want your career to go to. If you become a groundman working on something like a bush hog or a fella buncher, anything of that nature, your career is probably going to be limited. The reason I say that is you will specialize in a very small group of equipment that you're only going to find at larger companies. And these larger companies, 90% of the time, are going to be in utility or logging. Okay, that's going to be the two fields where you'll find that. You're either going to operate heavy equipment or specialized equipment for a utility or logging. Now, if you want to become a climber or doing work actually trimming, taking down trees, you have to find a position where you can be a groundman or an arborist apprentice, or all the hundreds of names they have for it, tree aid, so on and so forth, where you actually learn the day-to-day operations of somebody who trims or takes down trees. Okay? Once you do that, it takes time. You then move up into an operator or a climber's position. Eventually you work on getting your own crew, which is where you're a foreman or you are a crew leader of some kind. If you're with a utility, you'll focus more on becoming a general foreman and working towards becoming a manager. If you're working in logging, they have different terms for what they call their people. A lot of times it's crew leader or the foreman, blah blah blah. There's tons. There's different names for a lot of these positions within our industry. If you hit the requirements, you become a certified arborist, it changes your entire role within the tree industry. Because us as arborists, we are here to try to save trees, not to remove every tree. We are here to save trees, which puts you in a dilemma. Your job is to diagnose tree diseases, identify trees, and come up with ways of saving trees. When a resident calls you to say, hey, I want this pine tree down in my front yard, it makes it different because they want what they want. You can try to convince them not to remove it. Hey, it's a healthy tree. I can trim it up. I can remove some of the growth that's going towards your home. I can cut any dead out of it, things that might cause it to have future damage. I can handle that. And they still might want it down because they want something else there. So residential side of tree work is a lot different because your options on stopping or doing what as arborists are there to do, which is to save as many trees as possible. If you're a general tree guy, you can always get with your local private company and you just do what you're getting paid to do. Take down, trim, do whatever the customer requests. If you get with the municipality, you have to fulfill more of that role of ISA, which is, okay, I want to plant trees here that are non-invasive. They can handle environmental changes well. They don't go away every year when it freezes. Let's decorate this flower bed. Okay, we got to trim this tree. Take dead out of this tree. And you plant far more than you remove. So, for example, with us, if we remove 150 trees in a year, we're going to plant 250 trees. And then when you get with utility, you try to trim as many trees as possible. And if you're an arborist under a utility, you're going to be a forester, you're going to be a line inspector, you're going to be a quality control specialist. You're going to also be you're going to be doing safety audits. You're going to be making sure that they're following policy and safety procedures that are set forth. That's one of the higher paying sides of working in the ISA, is working as a utility forester or line inspector, or working in the utility vegetation management side of things. That tends to be higher paying because utility contracts, they have a lot of money coming in from day to day. So if you're looking to come into the industry, there's many routes that you can go to, many ways of operating, many ways of doing things to excel your career. It just takes time. And that's something you're going to have to be patient with, because if you come in, you can't go up here. You can. I wouldn't advise that you get into tree work for a year and then say, hey, I'm going to go start my own company. When we do hiring, for example, if I have 3 candidates, one guy, he's been doing tree work for 10 years, has no interest in an ISA. He just, I've been taking down and trimming trees for 10 years. I just want to do my job. Okay, cool. Then I have a guy come in. I have a 4-year degree in forestry. I'm just getting out of college, and I've got to have somewhere to start. Okay, good deal. Then I have a guy that I've been climbing for a year, and I've been looking into getting closer to home. I'm tired of traveling, tired of doing this. I just want to be I want to come in here and look for someplace to grow. Okay, so you've been climbing for a year. Then I got a guy, he's got a strict degree. He's got no real world experience. Then I got a guy that's been doing this for 10 years with no foresight into if he wants to grow and develop at all. He's just setting his ways in his mind because he's been doing it for 10 years. Usually I'm going to hire the guy that's been doing it for 1 year with climbing experience, because if you're willing to climb and you've climbed and you have the actual verifiable experience that, hey, you hooked or SRT, DRT up a tree, then yeah, you're looking to grow and develop. Most of the time, not always. Sometimes people fool you. If you have a degree, I'm not as likely to hire you just because you're coming in with a degree, because you have no real world experience. But more than willing to give you a chance, depending on the position I'm trying to get you in for. If I'm bringing you in as strictly a management level position, where your knowledge carries more weight, absolutely. But I'll pick a working arborist over somebody with just a general degree in forestry. The reason that is because most arborists, you have to have verifiable experience beforehand. And that's just bottom line. Everything with work, especially in tree work, is about your experience. So you have to be careful where you pick to start, who trains you. Liabilities are endless. It is what it is. So if you're coming into tree work, if you have any questions, you're more than happy to comment, ask away. If you have any opinions, please say them. Put them in the comments. Make suggestions to guys, places where they can start, where they can build. If you have a difference in opinion, there is no problem with that. As men in this industry, women in this industry, we have to try to help it grow more than what it's been in the past. Because a lot of 10, 15 years ago, safety wasn't the most important thing in this industry. The death to injury rate was extreme. It was just nonstop. There was always an injury. 3 and 5 had the potential of death or injury every day they went to work in this industry. So there's been a lot of changes. Also, there's some areas, like, for example, I didn't know about SRT, DRT till about 10 years ago when I went up north working storms such as that. It was all just down in South Carolina, double D ring standard saddle, and you used a taut line hitch. And when I originally first got in, you had one lanyard, your saddle, spikes. You ran all the way up to the top before you tied in. So then you came down, did your work. But also, when I first got into it during the summer, you'd be lucky if the guys were even wearing shirts. Hard hat was more optional. Y'all who have been in it for a long time, you know the difference. You see how things have changed. It's really gotten way more professional than it used to be. So if you have any questions, any concerns, need any advice on a place to start, a place to change, because you want to get into this industry, feel free to leave in the comments. I'll try my best to answer. And if you have a difference in opinion, or if you have even not just a difference in opinion, but advice to give some of these younger guys who are coming in. I know I get tongue tangled. I'm not the best speaker, unless it comes to, like most of us, you want to ask me my opinion on something with a tree, I'll tell you like it's no problem. You want to ask me to talk to you about ways to improve and do this and that, if it's not straightforward, blunt, we try. But most of us are not the best speakers in the world, and I think most of you will understand that. Like I said, it's a great industry to get into. Start out in a place that is safe, can get you viable experience. Don't give up quick. It takes time. And I hope that I get some questions. More than happy to answer, or try to answer. And if I can't answer it, I'll find somebody who can answer it for you. And we'll get you the information you need to get started or even to grow and move forward. If you're already climbing and you're hitting that point that, okay, I'm set, this is where I want to be. If there's any way we can help you, please contact, comment, and we'll see what we can answer and get done for you. Once again, thank you. Y'all have a great day.